From building a wall on the southern border to ICE deportations and the debate over the family separation policy, immigration is another major topic in this primary election cycle. And this issue also got personal for one candidate who tells the story of his family's journey to America.
Like you, my family has an immigrant story on one side of the family. My mom and her grandparents were Polish Jews who miraculously survived the Holocaust, and they stayed in Poland because my grandfather couldn't imagine leaving his family behind, and everybody was killed in their family except the three of them and an aunt. And after the war was over, they lived in Poland for 2 years. Then they went to Stockholm, Sweden for a year. Then they went, of all places, to Mexico City for a year. And then they came to the United States of America to rebuild their shattered lives, where they became, among the most patriotic Americans I've ever known. What I would do is work to pass comprehensive immigration reform. I was part of the Gang of Eight in 2013, 4 Democrats and 4 Republicans who negotiated the immigration bill in the Senate. We got 68 votes for that bill. That bill, by the way, had more border security in it than what Donald Trump's talking about. It had $46 billion in border security. Donald Trump says Democrats are for open borders. That's a lie. You're for a secure border. I'm for a secure border. You're for the rule of law and immigration. I'm for the rule of law and immigration. But we weren't building a medieval wall down there. We were actually using technology and other kinds of barriers to create a safe border. We created internal security as part of that bill, so that this whole issue of, the fact that 40% of the people here that are undocumented came lawfully but overstayed their visa, America has no way to deal with that right now. We fixed that problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Senator, on the issue of a wall, a physical barrier does have a role, though, in some parts of the border.
Of course. But look, Donald Trump goes down there, Adam, and he has a photo op, and he stands. I don't know if I'm allowed to walk over here. Is that all right? He stands, and he'll have 3 of what, like this, his 3 steel slats. That's what he calls them. We had 350 miles of steel slats in the Gang of Eight bill. 350 miles. So he's sort of foisted on the American people this idea that there are people in America that don't seriously want border security.
What improvements could you make at the border for border security to prevent undocumented immigrants from crossing, as well as illegal cargo on trucks and ships?
Yeah, so you said trucks and ships, and that's right. What we have to do is we have to do the things we know we need to do better, which is secure our ports, have adequate staffing and personnel at the border. The wall is not a solution. If you look at the actual configuration of the border, there are a lot of places where building a wall would be completely impractical, and all you're going to do is channel resources to other parts of the border. So I looked into this. I looked into whether there was some technological solution one could implement, and there is not. What we have to do is we have to adequately staff and secure the border and put more resources to work so that there's no silver bullet where the southern border is concerned. What happened to New Hampshire in the early part of the 20th century is now happening to other parts of the country. And we're not being honest about the fact that what happened to the manufacturing workers will now happen to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, which are unfortunately the 4 most common jobs in the economy. So I'm running for president to wake America up to the fact that it is not immigrants that are causing economic issues around the country. It is the fact that our economy has changed in fundamental ways.
Most people don't like to leave home. Just think about that. Most of us don't want to leave home. We don't like to leave home. And we leave there because there's either we're fleeing something where there's no opportunity, right? But we have to for some reason or another. So I operate from that principle, but then let's go even further. What we have seen in terms of the children and the parents that you're talking about are people that have fled murder capitals of the world. Think about it in terms of a mother or father that makes a decision to pay a coyote, to pay a stranger, to transport their child from their country of origin through the entire country of Mexico, facing unknown peril. Why would they do that? It's because they know if they stayed where they are, it would be worse. But what has this administration done? It looks at these families and it says, go back to where you came from. It's inhumane and it's un-American. So what would we do? What would I do? Well, first of all, we have to have a legitimate process about hearing their cases. and giving them a legitimate opportunity to seek asylum. When we constructed the laws of our nation, we imagined that these things will happen, that people from foreign countries will arrive here fleeing harm. So we put in place a process. Well, let's honor that process.